In 1645, a young samurai named Jubet stood before his master, trembling. Tomorrow he would face his first real battle. Men would try to kill him. He would try to kill them, and he was terrified. "Master," Jubet whispered, "how do I stop feeling afraid?" The master looked at him with eyes that had seen 100 battles. "You don't. Fear never leaves. But I will teach you how to move through it as if it doesn't exist. Here's what nobody tells you about courage. Samurai weren't fearless. They felt the same terror you feel before a job interview, a difficult conversation, or standing up for yourself. The difference? They had a system for acting despite fear, and that system works just as powerfully today as it did 400 years ago. The question is, are you ready to learn how warriors build courage when your brain is screaming at you to run? Chapter 1. The Awakening. Marcus's Prison. Marcus Rivera was 32 years old when he realized fear had stolen his entire life. Not the dramatic kind of fear, no phobias of spiders or heights, just the everyday suffocating anxiety that made everything feel impossible. Making phone calls at work, his heart would race. Speaking in meetings, he'd rehearse for hours, then say nothing. Approaching women, forget it. Even texting friends felt exhausting. He was a senior software developer, smart, capable, completely paralyzed. His boss pulled him aside one Tuesday. "Marcus, you're brilliant technically, but you need to present to clients. You need to lead meetings. If you can't do that, there's no path forward here." Marcus nodded, knowing he'd never do it, knowing he'd quit first. That night, sitting alone in his apartment, the same apartment he'd had for 8 years because looking for a new one felt too overwhelming, Marcus looked at his life. 35 dating app matches, never messaged. 3 friend invitations to events, all declined. He gestured to a scroll on the wall. 2 Japanese characters, Fudoshin, the immovable mind. Not a mind without fear, but a mind that fear cannot move. And this, he pointed to another character, Kaizen, continuous improvement through microscopic steps. I don't understand how this helps with anxiety. Let me ask you something. When did you start avoiding things? Marcus thought back. I gave a presentation in college. I completely froze, forgot everything. Everyone saw me fail. After that, I started saying no to anything public, so one bad experience created a pattern. And that pattern has grown for how many years? 10. 10 years of training your brain that fear means stop. 10 years of neural pathways reinforcing avoidance, and you think you can undo that in a weekend workshop. Marcus felt shame rising. "So there's no hope." "I didn't say that. I said you cannot undo 10 years in a weekend. But you can undo 10 years in 10 months if you're willing to do something that seems impossibly small." "What is it?" Tiada smiled. "For the next 2 weeks, every single day, I want you to make one phone call. Not a hard one. Call a restaurant and ask their hours. Call a store and ask if something's in stock. 30 seconds maximum." "That's all," Marcus laughed. "That's it? That won't fix my anxiety." "You're right. One phone call won't fix your anxiety, but 14 phone calls will prove something crucial. That you can face micro-fear and survive. And that proof is the seed of all courage." Marcus left confused. He'd expected meditation techniques, breathing exercises, therapy. Instead he got, "Make a phone call." But something Teda said stuck with him. "You've spent 10 years training your brain to be afraid. Now you'll spend 10 months training it to be brave." That night, Marcus looked up a pizza place. Heart pounding, he called. "Hi, what time do you close?" 9 p.m. "Thanks." He hung up, hands shaking, but alive. Day 1 complete. Chapter 3. The Test. The 14-day challenge. The first week was brutal. Every day Marcus had to make his phone call, and every day his brain screamed at him not to. "You don't need to know when that store closes. You're being stupid. They'll think you're weird." But he did it anyway. Day 3, called a library about hours. Day 5, called a gym about membership. Day 7, called his insurance company with a question. By day 7, something shifted. The calls still made him nervous, but he stopped imagining catastrophe. He just did it. On day 14, he returned to the dojo. "Did you make all 14 calls?" "Yes." "How do you feel?" "Honestly, kind of proud." "It's stupid. They're just phone calls, but I did something every day that scared me." Tiada nodded. Not stupid. Essential. You've just learned the first principle of building courage: consistency beats intensity, he continued. Most people try to face their fears by jumping into the deep end. Big speech, big confrontation, big risk, and they drown. Then they never try again. But samurai didn't train courage by jumping into battle. They trained by doing one slightly difficult thing, then another, building neural pathways of bravery through repetition. Tiada stood. Now next 2 weeks, same phone calls, but add this. In every conversation at work, make yourself speak once, just once, even if it's just agreeing with someone. Speak. Marcus felt panic rising. I can't. Can you make 1 phone call per day? Yes. Then you can speak once per day at work. Same difficulty level. You've already proven you can handle this much discomfort. Marcus realized Tiada was right. If he could call strangers, he could speak once in a meeting with people he knew. Okay, I'll try. No, you'll do it. Trying is giving yourself permission to fail. Doing is. Neural pathways began forming. Phone call equals manageable discomfort, not mortal danger. Miyamoto Musashi wrote in the Book of 5 Rings. The way of the warrior is in training. Day by day you polish your spirit. Month by month you refine your strategy. Not one day become fearless. Day by day, month by month. The Hagakure, the samurai code, states, courage is not absence of fear. It is the judgment that something else is more important than fear. For Marcus, that something was living a life instead of hiding from one. But there's a deeper layer. Tiada was teaching him Fudoshin, the immovable mind. Not a mind without fear, but a mind that fear cannot move from its purpose. Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught the same principle. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The samurai version, fear will arise. That's not in your control. But whether you act or freeze, that is in your control. This is the crucial difference between Western positive thinking and Eastern warrior philosophy. Western approach, don't be afraid. You got this. Believe in yourself. Samurai approach, you will be afraid. Accept that. Act anyway. One denies reality, the other trains you to function within reality. Modern psychology confirms this. Dr. Susan David's research on emotional agility shows that accepting difficult emotions rather than fighting them leads to better outcomes. The samurai knew this 400 years ago, but Tiada was building something else too, keystone habits. By making Marcus do one small brave thing daily, he was creating what psychologists call a keystone habit, a habit that triggers cascading positive changes. Charles Duhigg's research on habits shows that small wins create momentum. One brave phone call made it slightly easier to speak in a meeting, which made it easier to text a friend, which made it easier to try something new. This is Kaizen in a 1% improvement daily compounds into 37 times improvement annually. Marcus didn't need to become 100% braver overnight. He needed to become 1% braver today, then again tomorrow, then again. And the beautiful part, this system is self-reinforcing. Every time you face fear and survive, your brain creates a reference experience, proof that courage is possible, that fear's predictions are exaggerated. The samurai created thousands of these reference experiences through training. By the time they faced actual battle, their brains had overwhelming evidence. We've survived difficulty before. We can survive this. Marcus was building that same evidence, one phone call at a time. Chapter 5. The first transformation. The meeting, month 3. Marcus had made 90 phone calls, spoken in 60 meetings, started small conversations with 30 strangers. None of it was comfortable. All of it was possible. Then came the real test. His boss, Marcus, we need someone to present the new software to the executive team. 30 minutes. Can you do it? Old Marcus would have said no immediately. New Marcus felt the familiar terror rising, heart racing, palms sweating, mind screaming, you'll fail again. But then he remembered he'd faced micro versions of this fear 180 times in 3 months. I'll do it. The week before the presentation, Marcus didn't sleep well. He rehearsed obsessively. The fear was enormous, but he'd learned something from Tiada. Fear doesn't mean stop. Fear means this matters. The morning of the presentation, Marcus went to the dojo. I'm terrified, he told Tiada. Good. That means your amygdala works. Now show me your breath. Marcus breathed. Too fast. You're feeding the fear. Samurai before battle would practice controlled breathing. 4 counts in, hold 4, out 4, hold 4. This signals your nervous system, we're safe. Marcus practiced. His heart rate slowed. Now. You will feel fear during that presentation. When you do, you will breathe and you will continue speaking. Not because you're brave, because you're trained. The presentation happened. Marcus walked into the conference room. 8 executives. His hands shook as he connected his laptop. Fear screamed, "Run! Fake illness! Anything but this!" He breathed. 4 counts. Started speaking. His voice cracked on the first sentence. He paused, breathed, continued. 5 minutes in, something shifted. The fear didn't leave, but he stopped fighting it. He just coexisted with it, speaking despite it. 15 minutes in, he forgot to be afraid. He was just explaining the software he knew inside out. 29 minutes, he finished. The CTO nodded. "Good work, Marcus. Clear presentation. When can we start implementation?" Marcus walked out of that room in a daze. He hadn't died, hadn't been humiliated, hadn't failed catastrophically like his brain promised. He'd just done it. That evening at the dojo, Teada smiled. "You discovered something today. What was it?" "That I could do it. That fear lies about the outcome. Yes, but deeper." "What did you learn about yourself?" Marcus thought. "That I'm not the person I thought I was. I'm not someone who can't present. I'm someone who was trained to avoid, and now I'm training myself to act." Teada said, "This is the first transformation, from identity of coward to identity of someone building courage. Not from coward to hero, just from frozen to training." He continued, "Samurai didn't think of themselves as fearless. They thought of themselves as warriors in training. Always training. Never arrived. This kept ego small and progress constant." Marcus felt something shift. He wasn't broken. He was just undertrained, and training could continue forever. But Marcus's presentation was just the shallow victory. The real test, the one that would prove way. He'd actually changed, was still coming, and it would require more courage than anything he'd done so far. Chapter 6. Deep Training Arc. The Fear Ladder. Teada introduced Marcus to something he called the Samurai Fear Ladder. In feudal Japan, young warriors didn't go straight from training to battle. They progressed through increasingly difficult tests. First, solo night watch, facing fear of darkness, solitude. Second, guarding important figures, responsibility without combat. Third, skirmishes with bandits, limited combat. Fourth, full battle, total chaos. Each level built on the previous. Each level seemed impossible until you'd mastered the one before. "We will do the same with your fears," Teada said. He had Marcus list every situation that scared him from 1 to 10 difficulty. Making phone calls, already mastered. Speaking in meetings, comfortable now. Starting conversations with strangers, getting better. Attending social events alone, still terrifying. Public speaking to large groups, paralyzing. Confronting people when needed, impossible. Asking women out, absolutely not. Leading a team, can't even imagine. "We will climb this ladder 1 rung at a time. Never skip, never rush. Always complete before moving up." For the next 6 months, Marcus trained. Month 4. Attended a networking event alone. Forced himself to introduce himself to 5 people. Felt like dying, did it anyway. Month 5. Joined a Toastmasters club. Gave 2-minute speeches weekly. Hands shook every time, continued anyway. Month 6. Had a difficult conversation with a CO worker who kept taking credit for his work. Voice trembling, but said what needed saying. Month 7. Asked a woman from his kickboxing class to coffee. She said no. He survived. Asked another woman 2 weeks later. She said yes. Every rung of the ladder felt impossible until he climbed it. Then it became the new baseline. Teada explained, "This is Shoshin, beginner's mind. Even though you've done brave things, you approach each new challenge as a beginner. No ego. No, I should be better at this. Just, I'm training this skill now." During one session, Marcus broke down. "I've been doing this for 6 months. Why is it still hard? Shouldn't I be confident by now?" Teada's response changed everything. "You think the end point is confidence?" "No. The end point is competence despite discomfort." Samurai never stopped feeling fear. They stopped letting fear control behavior. You will always feel some anxiety before difficulty. That's not failure. That's human. The goal isn't feeling brave, the goal is acting brave. There's a massive difference. This reframed everything for Marcus. He'd been waiting to feel confident before acting, but confidence is the result of action, not the prerequisite. The samurai knew this. That's why their training focused on discipline, not emotion. Do the thing, feel the fear, do it anyway. Repeat. Tiada taught him a morning ritual: 5 a.m. wake, 5:05 a.m. cold shower. Physical discomfort training: 5:15 a.m. 10 minutes zazen meditation. Mind training: 5:25 a.m. journal one fear you'll face today. 5:30 a.m. plan exactly when and how you'll face it. This ritual created what Tiada called warrior presence, the state of being fully alert, aware, and committed to action regardless of internal state. Marcus discovered something profound. Discipline creates freedom. By committing to the ritual regardless of how he felt, he freed himself from the tyranny of mood. Didn't matter if he was tired, scared, unmotivated. The ritual happened. The courage building happened. This is Gambaru, the Japanese concept of persevering through difficulty. Not positive thinking, not motivation. Just continue regardless. By month 9, Marcus had climbed to rung 7 of his fear ladder. He'd done things that seemed impossible 8 months earlier, but rung 8 still terrified him. Leading a team. And that's exactly what his boss was about to offer. During a particularly difficult week, Marcus sat in meditation, and a thought arose. Not from his own mind, but from somewhere deeper. Every warrior who has walked this path has faced these same moments. The moments where fear whispers stop and discipline whispers continue. You're not alone in this training. Across time, across space, warriors are choosing courage over comfort. If you're on this path too, if you're training yourself to act despite fear, you're walking the warrior's way. Subscribe to continue this training with us, because courage is built together, not alone. Chapter 7. The Final Confrontation. Leading Through Fear. Month 10. Marcus's boss called him in. Marcus, I've watched your transformation. A year ago, you couldn't speak in meetings. Now you're presenting to executives, leading projects, mentoring juniors. We want you to lead the new development team. 8 people. Are you ready? Every cell in Marcus's body screamed no. Leading a team meant daily decisions. People depending on him. Confrontations when things go wrong. Visibility when things fail. Total responsibility. Old Marcus would have declined immediately. New Marcus felt the terror and said yes anyway. The first week was chaos. Team members arguing about architecture, deadlines slipping, a senior developer undermining his decisions, and Marcus in the middle fighting panic while trying to lead. He called Tiada. I can't do this. It's too much. Can you do it today? What? Can you lead them today? Just today? Not for the whole project. Just today, Marcus thought. Yeah, just today I can manage, then tomorrow I'll ask you the same question. And you'll answer the same way. One day of leadership at a time. This was Kaizen applied to the ultimate fear. Not become a confident leader, just lead adequately today. Marcus started applying everything he'd learned. When the senior developer challenged him publicly, Marcus used controlled breathing, felt the fear, and calmly stated his decision. Didn't escalate, didn't back down, just held his position despite discomfort. When a project deadline looked impossible, Marcus had the difficult conversation with his boss. Voice shaking but clear, we need 2 more weeks or quality suffers. When a team member wasn't performing, Marcus had the confrontation he'd have avoided a year ago. Uncomfortable but necessary. Every day brought situations that triggered fear, and every day, Marcus acted despite it. 3 months into leading the team, something remarkable happened. A major client demo failed. Software crashed in front of 50 people. Disaster. Old Marcus would have frozen, spiraled, maybe quit. New Marcus felt the fear, massive, overwhelming fear, and acted anyway. He apologized professionally, took full responsibility, outlined the fix, scheduled a follow-up demo. Afterward, his boss pulled him aside. That's leadership, not perfection, not pretending you're not afraid, just handling difficulty with dignity. Marcus realized he'd finally reached rung 8 of his fear ladder. Not because he'd stopped feeling afraid, because he'd proven he could lead despite fear, the warrior truth. A year after his first visit to the dojo, Marcus sat across from Tiada. Master, I've been thinking. When I started, I thought courage meant not being afraid. But that's not it, is it? Tiada smiled. Tell me what you've learned. Courage is the trained ability to act when fear says stop. It's not a feeling, it's a discipline. Samurai felt fear. They just didn't let fear make their decisions. Yes. What else? That you build courage the same way you build muscle. Not by trying to lift the heaviest weight immediately, but by lifting slightly heavier weights consistently over time. Micro steps compound into major transformation. Yes. What else? Marcus thought deeply. That fear never fully disappears. I still get anxious before presentations, still nervous in confrontations, still uncomfortable in new social situations, but I'm no longer controlled by it, Tiada nodded. This is the warrior truth. The samurai were not fearless. They were fear-trained. They had built so many reference experiences of surviving fear that their brains no longer predicted catastrophe. He continued, modern culture tells you to be confident, but confidence is a result, not a method. The method is Kaizen, small improvements daily. Fudoshin, acting despite internal turbulence. Shoshin, approaching each challenge with beginner's mind. Gambaru, persevering through discomfort. These aren't motivational concepts, they're training systems. You don't psych yourself up, you train yourself up. Marcus felt profound gratitude. A year ago, I was hiding from phone calls. Now I lead a team. How did this happen? One day at a time. One fear at a time. One action despite fear at a time. Tiada stood, walked to the scroll on the wall. Fudoshin, the immovable mind. You know what this really means? It means the world will shake you. Fear will try to move you. But you have trained yourself to remain on your path regardless. Not because you're unaffected, because you're disciplined. Marcus understood. He hadn't become a different person. He'd become a trained version of himself. The fear was still there. The discipline to act was now there too, and discipline beats fear every time. The samurai lesson. 2 years after that first phone call, Marcus runs his team with quiet competence. He still feels fear, but it no longer stops him. Last week, a junior developer, quiet, anxious, reminded Marcus of his former self, approached him. Marcus, how do you do it? How are you so confident? Marcus almost laughed. I'm not confident, I'm trained. What's the difference? Confidence is a feeling, training is a practice. I still get nervous. I just don't let nervousness make my decisions anymore. The junior developer looked confused. So how do I become like you? Marcus thought about Tiada's first lesson. About that one phone call that changed everything. Tell me something. What's the smallest thing that scares you? Asking questions in team meetings. Perfect. For the next 2 weeks, ask one question in every meeting. Even if it's just clarifying something obvious. Can you do that? Just one question, every day for 2 weeks? Then come talk to me. Marcus saw himself 2 years ago, wondering if a phone call could really change anything, knowing now that it could. It did. It changed everything, because courage isn't built through grand gestures. It's built through micro acts of bravery repeated until they become identity. The warrior's path isn't found in fearlessness. It's found in trained discipline. The discipline of building courage that samurai practiced for centuries. It continues today, not in feudal Japan, but in every person choosing to face fear instead of hiding from it. If this exploration of courage, discipline, and warrior philosophy resonated with you, I invite you to subscribe to Presence and Purpose. Your subscription helps us create more content like this, deep investigations into samurai wisdom and practical systems for building warrior presence in modern life. We're building a community of men training themselves to act despite fear, men who understand that courage is a skill, not a gift, who practice Kaizen, Fudoshin, and Gambaru not as concepts, but as daily disciplines. Thank you for watching. Thank you for having the courage to seek this path. Thank you for choosing training over hiding. Until next time, face one fear, build one micro moment of courage, train your warrior mind. The world needs more trained warriors and fewer people paralyzed by fear. Be the former. Walk with presence. Live with purpose. Act with courage.